Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're celebrating a massive win from one of our accelerator clients, Anish. Now 2 years ago, Anish was a UCLA student, an international student, and had sent out 200 to 300 applications with basically no results. He felt behind, stressed, and knew he needed a real system. So instead of continuing to guess, he focused on the right things, learning how referrals actually work, getting serious about mock interviews, and building momentum one step at a time. First, through our program, he landed his first paid internship. Then he came back, leveled up again, and now he's officially accepted a YouTube ML engineering offer in San Francisco worth over $220,000 a year in compensation. Anish, huge congrats. Let's get into it. Thanks for joining. Well, first of all, I want to say congrats. You're at Google. Let's go. Let's celebrate. How's it feel?
It feels unreal, to be honest. Still really hasn't hit me that I got the offer, but I got the offer in writing like 2 days ago, so it was really awesome to look at.
Let's go. That genuinely, man, like I'm almost at a loss for words because of how incredible this result is. Because like
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, this is just so awesome. I know we started working together like quite a while ago. It was like I think around 2 years ago, like at least a year and a half, maybe even 2 years ago, we started working together, and like it's just so cool to see how far you've come over the past couple of years. So genuinely, man, from like the bottom of my heart, I'm just super proud of where you've come, man. Google's the best company to work at, genuinely. So it's just super hyped to see where you're going.
I really appreciate that, and none of that would have been possible without you. So thank you so much to you as well.
Yeah, of course, man. So I just wanted to do a bit of an update, right? Like I know we did one of these a while ago last year after you got your first internship, but I actually wanted to go all the way back to where you were 2 years ago, why you decided to join, and then we can kind of walk through it and then, go to present day. So we'll start back at the beginning. So I guess, Anish, where were you? What was your life setup like? What school were you at, et cetera, when you first found out about the accelerator?
Absolutely. So the first time I joined the accelerator was a junior at UCLA, and I had no internship experience, and I joined the accelerator in the fall. So that was what I was starting off with. I had like one unpaid internship under my belt, but other than that, I didn't really have much going for me, and I was pretty lost. So that's pretty much where I started.
Yeah. And you mentioned how you didn't have a lot of experience, so you mentioned no paid internship experience so far. Had you applied a bunch, or have you not even started applying at that point?
No, I definitely applied to a lot of positions my sophomore year and also the start of my junior year. But unfortunately, I wasn't getting the responses I wanted. I didn't really secure any interviews or anything like that. I think from like 200, 300 applications, I had like one OA from some random company. So yeah, my stats weren't doing too great.
Wow, that's crazy. And then also, I think another thing I want to mention is you're an international student currently. So it's even harder, right? Like that was probably playing into things and making it even harder for you to break in, 2 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Especially as of recent times, it just becomes more and more difficult for those on an F1 visa. So yeah, it was definitely a very stressful time for sure.
Got it. And how did you find out about the accelerator in the first place?
Absolutely. So I used to watch your videos on YouTube, and I used to, see those videos of the stairway to Software Haven and dream about, climbing all the way up there. I heard about the accelerator during one of your YouTube videos, and I decided, why not? Let's set up a call. And I was convinced after the first call.
Nice. And then why did you end up reaching out for help in the first place? Because a lot of people might see that and be like, okay, you know what? I can just try and see what happens. Like maybe I'll keep trying to do the same thing. Hopefully something changes. Why did you actually want to reach out to work with a coach or a program to make your goals happen?
Absolutely. I think it was sort of like the pressure of finding an internship. I think it's just something I had to like sort of get done. I'm an international student. I'm on a visa clock. I also have a lot of student loans, like studying at UCLA. It was really important for me to get my career straight as early as possible. And the fact that I didn't have a sophomore or summer internship already made me feel like I was behind. So that's what sort of made me feel the reach to, find some professional help.
Nice. And then before we go into your experience, the first time around you did the program, did you have any hesitations about working with a coach or joining the program?
Absolutely. I know there's a lot of skepticism around these like coaching programs. A lot of them don't work. A lot of them don't help you properly. So I was skeptical about it. The one thing that did convince me, though, is you were the first program to have the condition where if I don't get a job, you guys don't get paid. And that was really where, okay, it felt a lot more trustworthy for you guys.
Nice. And yeah, we get that a lot. Like that's probably one of the biggest perks is we have like the contractual guarantee. So we're screwed if you don't get your offer. So glad to see like that really helped you make that decision. Really? So let's go into your first year in the accelerator. Like how did you feel the program was and what were your kind of results going to the accelerator the first time?
So when I first joined the accelerator, I was already exposed to a lot of new information that I didn't have already. I think the stairway to software haven, I thought, you could get, directly jump all the way up to big tech internships your first time. That was under the mindset I am. But, it really set like a roadmap for me of what I need to achieve to really get the goals that I want. And so that was really helpful. And also just learning how to get there. So I didn't know, the importance of mock interviews. I didn't know the importance of referrals versus a cold application. So getting all those different sort of pieces of information was really, really helpful. I did feel a little overwhelmed because I did feel like, okay, there is actually quite a lot I need to be doing here. So it was a little bit overwhelming, but as soon as I finally got my first unpaid internship through an interview, then I really sort of like built the momentum and then be like, okay, maybe I can actually climb where I want to go. So that was definitely like my fall experience. And then eventually I ended up getting a paid internship that summer. So yeah, it was awesome. So yeah.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, you achieved your goal that first time around. I remember back then your biggest goal was just get some kind of paid experience, something so you don't like graduate or having to apply for full-time jobs without experience. So what was the company you got an offer at, and then what was the hourly salary for that?
Yeah, so I worked for a manufacturing company called Niagara Bottling, and I was working as a data science intern, so data science, AI, machine learning, and I was making about $32 an hour,
Nice.
40 hours a week. Yeah.
And then I guess when you got that first internship offer, like how did you feel about everything, right?
Yeah.
Back then when you first got that offer?
Yeah, it was really cool just being a 21-year-old being paid for doing coding work. That sounded like my dream. So like everything's felt a lot more realistic after I got to that point. And yeah, it just made me more ambitious because I got a taste of what I could do. And it sort of burned that fire in me more. So
Nice. So I remember after you got that offer, maybe 6 months ago or so, at some point recently, right? You reached back out because you got this first internship offer and you wanted to, I guess, get to the next level with a new grad offer. So tell me about that. Like, why reach back out to work with the program again to just get you to the next level? Why not just kind of see what happens again?
absolutely. So I mean, it worked the first time around. So definitely, I thought your support would be super helpful the second time around, especially with things like mock interviews and just, I always would have a lot of questions during recruiting season. So just being able to clarify those. So I thought those are very important sort of parts of my recruiting. So that's why I decided to reach back out because I thought the coaching and the guidance would still be helpful.
Nice. And then what was your goal? So you already got Niagara Bottling Company. What were you hoping to achieve in year two?
Yeah, so I wasn't thinking as big as Fang or Google. I was just looking, some mid-tier company, a company that's willing to sponsor a visa. Those were pretty much my only requirements. I had no expectations of salary or anything like that. I did want to work in something, pretty interesting to me. So that was a variable that was important, but obviously it's not super important. That was what I was looking for, but I definitely didn't target as high as Fang.
Nice. So let's actually go into your recent interview experience. So I guess what companies did you end up getting interviews from, and then how did those go?
Absolutely. So I ended up getting two Fang interviews. I got an Amazon OA and then I got a Google round. So the Amazon OA happened recently and the Google, I've been doing recruitment for like 4 or 5 months. So that started in like October 10. Yeah.
Wow. And then how did the Amazon OA go? Did you end up progressing past that or just kind of stopped at the OA level?
I'm still waiting for the result.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, I'm looking to hear back. So I'm not sure if I made it further yet. But yeah, I had those two Fang interviews and I had three more interviews at sort of mid-tier companies. And those are all from my career fair. Overall, I think I had 5 interviews.
Wow.
This recruiting
5 interviews is great, especially like almost half of those being from FANG level companies. So let's actually go into your Google interview process. What was that like? And then did you feel like the accelerator really prepped you for those interview experiences?
So the first stage was the OA. And so the OA was just some leak code style questions, which I already had some practice with before. But it was really helpful, hearing about other people that are doing the OA. There were other students that were studying at the same time. So, I would pair up with them, study together. And actually, me and one other student went through the whole interview process together, and we both got
Really?
offers at
Is this
YouTube.
fake?
Yeah, yeah. We
Let's go.
yeah, we studied together all the way from the start. So it was low-key surreal to see us go from start to finish together. So be like having people to study with in the program. And then I got my first round interview, and that's when the mock interviews were really helpful because now I understood sort of the components of what it takes to, succeed in an interview, both behavioral and technical wise. And obviously, I helped having Makan, the Google coach, who would really give me the guidance that's specific towards the Google questions themselves. So luckily, I was also able to pass the first round with one behavioral and one technical round. And then I moved to the final round, which was scheduled to be an on-site in New York. Due to the storm, I couldn't make it out, but they did have flights and hotel books and everything. So at that point, it felt really, really cool. So I ended up having two more leak code questions, and luckily a question was one I practiced with one of the coaches of the program. So that was really lucky, and I felt really confident in my interview, and I passed 2 weeks after. Um, yeah, so overall, it was quite a long recruitment process. I think I started in November and I finished it, and I got my response back in February. So it was pretty long. So I made it to team matching in February.
Nice. Well, again, that's super awesome. It's crazy to see that like you literally almost got questions that we were working with you on in the interview. So lucky, but also like we try to make sure that the interviews that we give our students are literally geared around the companies they're going to be interviewing at. And as you know, like much of our coaches are at FANG companies. So we have people at like Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, etc. So they're going to try to give you questions that are as similar to those companies' interviewing process to make it as likely as possible that you get that offer. So let's go into when you actually found the news. So when did you hear that you got the offer?
So I actually heard on Monday, this Monday.
Oh, wow.
Actually.
Okay.
So I got my recruiter call this Monday, and then she went through the details of the offer. I had been in team matching for a while, so I was starting to get a little nervous if I was going to get matched in time. But luckily, I got matched really quickly, actually. So that was awesome. So yeah, I got my offer on Monday, and I got my offer in writing on Tuesday.
Nice. So what was the total compensation on the offer? And then I guess what are the next steps? When are you starting? Where are you located, etc.?
Absolutely. So the total compensation offer is around 220,000. About in my first year, it's a little bit more considering the sign-on bonus and the relocation. And I will be working in SF, working for YouTube on the machine learning team, and the team seems really, really cool. So, I'm really excited to get started.
Nice. Dude, let's go. Like 220, 230K, new grad, you're in SF, you're working at YouTube. Dream come true, man. Like, I guess,
Absolutely.
what did your family say? Like when you told them, like what was the kind of the general reaction?
Oh, they were super happy. Yeah, I mean, this was my parents' dream that they didn't even know they had. So, yeah, they were they were very, very proud, very happy, and it means a lot to me and my family to come this far. So, yeah,
Nice.
it's definitely a
Yeah,
significant moment in our lives. Yeah.
let's go. So I guess kind of closing out here, what would you say to, I guess, Anish from 2 years ago? Someone who's kind of wanted to go on this journey, but it's kind of thinking whether it's worth investing in a program and coaches to make it happen, or whether they just risk it and see if they can do it on their own. Like, what would you say to that person who's on the fence?
Yeah, like it's never a bad idea to invest in your career. And the worst that could happen is, you don't get the offer that you wanted, but at least you have the guidance and the learning that you need to succeed in the future. So what I would say is just keep fighting, keep believing, don't give up, and stay motivated as much as you can.
Nice. Well, Anish, thanks so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. You're in the school for I think at least a few more months, up till the year when you join. So please reach out if you need anything else. But otherwise, man, like actually, no, I'll probably be reaching out to you soon, so you can join one of the coaches.
Also, that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
you can be our next
Absolutely.
Google coach, man. Like just try to give back to the community. That would be sick.
Absolutely. That would be awesome. I'd definitely be interested in that.
Awesome, man. All right. Best of luck with everything. And you have my DM if you have any questions, comments, concerns. But yeah, we'll talk to you later then. Best of luck. See ya.
Thank you so
Congrats
much for your
again.
support, Aman. It would have been impossible without you. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. See ya, man.
Yeah.